How can a 16-year-old make money? We're going to answer that question in this video. Okay, let's rock. I have got so many ideas for you if you're 16 years old, or maybe you're a parent and you're wondering, how can my 16-year-old make money? Okay, so let's talk about me at early stages, okay? So I come from Generation X. So back in those days, if we wanted to make money, we had to do things like set up the old lemonade stand, although I was too old for that at 16. But I ended up doing things like mowing lawns, shoveling driveways, right? Going door to door to be a salesperson. Those are the things that I did when I was 16. I also went, because I was so passionate about baseball cards, and I went and asked my local baseball card shop if I could actually work for them. And I said, you know what, I really want to get a job here. And when the guy hired me, I'll tell you what, I loved that job so much. I felt like I was robbing the guy because he was paying me, because I was doing what I love to do, right? So those are your traditional stuff. You know, you, or if it's, like I said, your son or daughter, they could get a traditional job. They could go work at like a grocery store, you know, or you know, something like that. They could be a waitress at a local restaurant or something to those likings. Now, if you want to think outside the box, it's 2020 as we're filming this video. There are so many other cooler, newer things I think that a 16-year-old would probably rather do than mow a lawn or shovel a driveway in the winter for money, which are the things that I did. So the first ones that come to mind are, a lot of these kids are super tech savvy, and they've learned to do things like build funnels. Funnels like ClickFunnels, right? They've learned the language and how to do it. And so they find businesses that are in need of bringing in new customers. You know, might be a local gym or, you know, a local chiropractor, whatever. And they build them these funnels, which are basically ways of generating new customers into the business. And they get a commission. They usually charge like a commission of how much money they're bringing in and generating for the business. That's usually what they do. So they do things like that. Or a lot of them are starting at a young age to learn about social media and how to manage it. So look into things like Facebook Ads Manager and boosting Facebook posts, right? And handling like Instagram ads and you know, maybe even Twitter, right? Whatever, TikTok's getting big. Look at the ads that you can learn how to generate for businesses, become really good at them. And businesses are willing to pay pretty good money for that, a lot more than what you're going to make at your grocery store, okay, working hourly and things like that. So that's kind of something that not only would it be good to learn because it's kind of one of those expertises that you'll take with you for life, but you'll actually make more money. So if you understand, like when in the early stages of life, when you're working hard, you're trading your precious time for money. So if it's me, I prefer to try to make and maximize as much money for my time as I can get, when at all possible. I mean, it's not always feasible. Sometimes you have to do whatever you got, right? And it's paying less than, say, something else that you do once a week. Well, unfortunately, that once a week gig or once a month gig can't happen every day, right? So you end up doing that whenever it comes up, but then you take the day job that pays you less, you know, per hour or whatever, but it's steady, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. So there's a lot of people I know right now that have ballooned on places like YouTube, right? And so they started out when they were a teenager, you know, 14, 15, 16 years old, and now they have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers on YouTube, and they've learned how to monetize it. So they make a ton of money off of ads, ad revenue, and so many other things that they've created. They bring that money in. So I know, I'll tell you, the first 16-year-old that I had ever seen that absolutely floored me. I was going to Tony Robbins events from about late 2017 through 2018. And you meet so many great, fantastic people by going to these events. And so I remember I was going to go to this one event called ClickFunnels that Russell Brunson puts on. And I think it was like in Nashville in like April or something like that. And somehow somebody had either shared this post or sent me an article or something about, they said, hey, you need to check this kid out. And I was like, well, who are you talking about? He said, Caleb Maddox. That was his name. I'll never forget it. And then there was a little girl. She was like 9 years old. Forgive me for not remembering her name. But she was also on that documentary show, whatever it was. And what impressed me about these kids was how driven they were, like me, at such a young age for success, right? Nobody's telling them to do it. It's just in them. They just want to succeed. They want to make money. And so this little girl, you hear her story, and she was like 9 years old, and she wrote a book on how to have the best sleepover. Totally something like a little 9-year-old girl would do, right? Well, then you sit there and say, now, that may be dumb from an adult's perspective or something like that, but you're sitting there and you're going, how many books can this little girl sell? Well, let me tell you how much of a hustler this girl was. This girl not only wrote that book and got it published, after she did that, she starts going and knocking on all her neighbors' doors, starts posting stuff. This girl sold, I don't know what the time frame was, whether it was a month or 6 months. She sold $20,000 worth of those How to Make the Best Sleepover books. Look it up. I mean, it just blew my mind how it's even possible that a little girl like that could make that much money. I mean, it puts some adults to shame, right? You're just sitting there saying, wow, if she can do that, what's my excuse? And that's kind of what I was looking at. So she was incredible. And then there was Caleb Maddox, who, when I watched him, he was 16. And that's why I'm bringing his story up, because we're talking about how to make money at 16 years old. And I watched this kid. He was actually speaking on stage. And I think it was at one of Russell Brunson's events. And I just see him moving and talking, and everything's flowing and coming together. And his mind works a million miles a second. I think mine does. This kid's just on it, younger, driven, everything. And all I said to myself, it's kind of like if you saw Michael Jordan, when he was 20 some odd years old, and you see the talent he has for basketball, it would be like, holy cow, why do I not pick up Michael Jordan, for all this, for my basketball team? And so I'm looking at Caleb Maddox and I'm like, how does this kid not get picked up? How is this kid not a millionaire? Well, here's the funny story. From what I remember reading about this kid, at 16, he made his first million. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, I saw the talent. I said, if somebody doesn't pick him up or if he doesn't have good coaching, but the fact is he's got a great father that stands behind him, coaches him, brings him up. And I admire you, Matt, so much for what you've done. You've produced a very fine son that's going to help change the world for the better. And you know what? The thing that's crazy about success, I've seen it kind of from the sidelines, is it's kind of sad when you see how good Caleb's doing. He's out there making videos, making impact on the world and crushing it. And then you see all these jealous trolls that get on there and just talk smack about the kid, right? Here's the bottom line. If you're not in the arena and you're not out there putting your face out, who cares? You're just another dislike. You're just another crappy comment. But if you want to get up and you want to measure up to Caleb, what you need to do is stand up and start getting on stage and doing the kind of things he's doing and delivering, and then you can talk, okay? So that's my 2 cents about that. But let's go back to Caleb. He learned at a young age, at 16 years old, like I did. I had my baseball card shop when I was 16 years old. There's very few people that can say that they've had their first brick and mortar real business with rent, utilities, like real stuff at 16. I had that, okay? And so I admire the fact that these youngsters are so ahead of their time and they're learning all the new tech, right? All the social media and how to integrate it all together to monetize it and make money. So they're learning how to, they'll make the videos. But then if you're on Facebook, you might see a paid ad from one of these guys, right? You might see Caleb come up. He's there to help you. He's changed hundreds, if not thousands of kids' lives that are young like him because he's speaking to them. He's already done it. He's showing them, hey, you can make this happen. And it's just impressive, right? So there's so many other, obviously, things you can do. I mean, I don't recommend you got these online surveys and stuff. They don't pay a ton of money. You got people that, like to babysit or pet sit. And, you have people that say, hey, I want you to walk my dog and go get my groceries and run errands. You can obviously do that. There's so many little things like that you can do. But at 16 years old, you're so young. If you're looking to make money, explore your options. And this is my recommendation to you, or if your parents are watching, this is my recommendation, is try to, number one, find something that they're going to love. One thing I don't do to my kids is I don't force them to do the things that they don't want to do. I don't want them to get jobs that they hate. I offer it. I'll say, hey, we got multiple businesses. You can come work for us, but I don't make them have to do that. Now, if they were driven, I would love that to come work for one of those companies. I would love that. But that might not be their cup of tea. That might not be their fate, their direction, right? They might have different things that they enjoy and whatnot. So first thing is make sure you're 16-year-old, or if you're 16, you find something you're passionate about and something you absolutely love. Because no matter what you do, you're going to make more money doing it, you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be more sustainable long term. Now, in closing, I just want to say that whatever you decide to do, when you go to the traditional school system, like in high school, whatever, get your high school diploma. get there. Now, once you graduate, that's questionable whether or not you need to go to college. That's going to be based off the direction you're going in life. And in a lot of cases, college is great. Okay, but make sure no matter how much you're making in high school, it's kind of something you need to just put a stamp on yourself. Don't drop out. Stay in high school. Finish it up. I know there's a lot of subjects in there. I remember it like it was yesterday that I absolutely hated. I'm like, why am I sitting in these dumb classes? I'm not going to ever use this crap in my life. It's the truth. But tough it out. Those teachers are working really hard to do their jobs, to do their best to teach you, and just tough it out and get through high school. Okay, everybody, I hope I helped you out. Please share this post if you know anybody you think would like it, benefit from it. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Remember in life, if you're young, middle-aged, or old, it always becomes challenging at times. It's just how life is. You got ups, you got downs. And no matter how hard you have to go through it, keep pushing and never quit. Remember that for me. Never give up and never quit. Push hard, and be the hustler.